Okay, and it says we're live, and everyone hears a big bang. They finally fixed the door downstairs, and when it slams shut, it slams shut. So that's what you hear. So, hey everybody, happy Friday. Boy, we're getting some snow. Sorry, Miss Nancy, I wish I could send some of it to you. But it's coming down really good, and it's pretty. So, Allyson and I are thankful for everybody joining us. We hope you had a great week. And we have a little surprise for everybody. Somebody's ringing at the bell. No, someone's knocking at the door. Somebody's ringing the bell. And we have Bobby
Oh, that was
with
cute.
us.
Hey everybody, how y'all
So
doing?
this afternoon I saw Bobby on and I was like, hey, you want to come on and hang out with Allyson and I tonight? And he was like,
Always.
always. So people know ahead of time Heather ain't feeling so great today. Not going to tap into readings or anything when I feel, this crappy, but I still want to hang out with my peeps. So we're going to be chilling and talking, and hopefully that's good with
Chilling and
everybody.
talking and talking and chilling.
Yep. So first person here was Miss
Hi
Nancy.
Nancy.
Was Nancy. We look like two, oh, on the little thumbnail.
Hi, Nancy.
And Mr. Crow, his name is Corbin. So, yes, Corbin the Crow is our little mascot now
Oops.
on our thumbnails. And
Crows are my jam.
Yeah.
Miss Taro D is here. Mwah. Hello, my
Sexy bitch,
dear.
how you doing?
Hey, Miss Turdy.
Hello, Miss Taro D. Everybody asking how everyone's week's been. Hello, Shelby. That's Moon Fox. And Janet is here. Hello, Janet. And yes, Miss Tarot. So if anybody still can keep sending Nancy and her daughter-in-law healing energy. A lot of you know I mentioned on Angie's show last night. Nancy's daughter-in-law had a massive stroke. She's doing better. She's in rehabilitation right now and awaiting tests, but yeah, she's got a long road ahead, but Nancy, she's strong. She's got a great family behind her who loves her, and we're all sending her a lot of healing energy. And
She's strong like bull.
bull- and um,
Strong like
and
bull.
thank you to everybody who's asked me privately about how my sister is doing. I got word on Monday that my sister had a stroke, and it looks like she's had multiple heart attacks along with that, with the scarring. And then the next day, Nancy told me her daughter-in-law. So it's been a crazy week, but my sister's ornery. She's stubborn. I think she's more Taurus than Sag, but she's in rehabilitation too. She's going to be fine. So thank you to everybody. It's been one hell of a week for a lot of people. And Bobby, we're glad to see that you're feeling better. So
I am. I had COVID, you guys.
so Bobby's back and better than ever. And Nancy's like, Bobby. And I believe Nancy's going to be joining you on your channel next
Yes,
week
she is. Miss
um,
Nancy will
for
be
some
on.
readings.
Let me see what
And
day on that is.
Janet's excited that you're here as well. So Miss Tarot D, hello, handsome Bobby, beautiful Allyson. She says,
Hi, Miss Turdy.
still in the hospital. And Peter said, those two crazy ladies are on. My mother is, Carolyn, your mother is in the hospital. Oh, come on, guys. This is a rough start to the year,
Really?
but we're going to
Wait
be
a minute.
good.
Hold on
So,
a second. Peter
Peter,
said, those two crazy ladies are on. And
and then
then my
Carolyn's
mother is in
mother
the
is in the
hospital.
hospital.
Whose
So,
mother's in the
I
hospital?
think I think Carolyn's mother. Are we right? Am I right, Carolyn? You're referring to your mom's in the hospital.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
Isadora is here. Hello, Isadora. And Nancy says, beautiful necklace, Allyson.
Oh,
Found
thank
it.
you.
Nancy's going to be on February 8th. Found
There
it.
you there you go.
And we're going to
So
be doing winter to spring
yeah,
readings.
yes, Carolyn's mother. Hmm.
Carol, with all this talk about mothers and sisters, it's really got me wanting to reconnect with my family. And I mentioned this the other day on my channel. I've really been thinking about my family. And I'll tell you what my problem is. I distanced myself for a reason. And I'm worried that by reconnecting with them, I'm opening doors to all kinds of insanity again. So, I mean, I'm going to do it. I just have to go in very carefully. Because hearing about Nancy's daughter, about your sister, about her mother, it really makes me think, am I the a-hole here? Do I need to go back and check this out again? Maybe things are different now.
No, I had to put up boundaries with my family, and I lowered them when my sister reached out to me again. And yeah, we got some things out in the open on the table, and things were okay. But family still, you just can't change them. And now, you know, now that we're going to be leaving in 2 or 3 months, it's like, no, I have to keep those boundaries in place. So just take your time, Bobby. You know,
I'm going to
make sure that
start with
it's
my mom. We've had an odd relationship. I was always her right hand growing up, and then as we started getting older, no. But I miss my mommy. I have in my phone, actually. Is she in the room? Is she here? Okay, no, nobody tell her this. In my phone, it says, remember, she's your mom. It's okay to love her, but never turn your back on her. That's literally what I have in my phone. For every time my mom calls, I could look at that and I see that. And it reminds me it's okay to love her, but don't turn your back on her.
And Shelby says, I had boundaries with my family, especially with my mother. I don't talk to her now. Mine's in on the other side in heaven, hopefully. And I still have nightmares
See?
about her. So yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Oh,
Hey,
Miss
Ange, how
Tara
you
D.
doing?
Miss Tara D says, Bobby's a horrible bad boy. Don't let him fool you. But she's just
Right.
teasing. And Ange is here. Bobby, yeah, Bobby joined us tonight. So
I love you guys. I love Ange. I love Heather. And Heather, by the way, your show and that Ange is doing on her channel with you, the music is just phenomenal.
it was fun.
But I sit there and I'm not gonna lie, I eat snacks while I watch that show. It's my favorite show. And even though we've only done a couple episodes, if I'm eating snacks and I'm like, come on, call my name, call my
We've
name.
got 3.
It's somebody else. I'm like, yeah, throwing snacks at the TV and everything.
Yeah, we're sorry we couldn't get to you, but next time
That's
we'll make
okay.
sure that we.
You guys read for me a lot. Read for the newbies and
Allyson, you got to let us do one for you some night. We spin the music wheel. We see what song.
Yeah, I've
pops up.
watched it. I watched your first episode, and I watched. I think it was the second one, but it was on the replay. How many have you done? 3, right?
3.
I didn't watch the last one. Yeah.
You guys are getting smoother every time. What are you burning, Allyson? What type of incense?
I am burning heme incense cones, but it's salvia, the sage.
Nice. And me, I have this lovely spray that I like to spray,
I have that over here too, but I had it out because I thought we were going to do readings, and I'm sitting here looking at it, I'm like, I don't like that.
I'm feeling better. We can always do a collective at the end of the show, but just tapping into a lot of people's energy tonight.
I wanted to comment on something. I was just waiting till you guys were done. I wanted to say something, kind of throw in a comment. So my mom died 6 years ago, Bobby, and I didn't have issues with my mom. I mean, I kind of did, but all of that was resolved and dealt with and whatever. I think probably everybody has some issues with their parents. I think that's part of the reason we even incarnate, right? Or that's one of my thoughts. But anyways, my dad, that's a different story. So I walked away from my dad years ago, and it's okay. So it's interesting because I walked away for far, far, far less than a lot of people do or did or would from my dad. but just for me and how I'm wired and how I am and my standards and all of that. And and he's just not my thing. Anyway, so I just wanted to say that. So it's like I have that, but mine's with my dad. The thing that I wanted to comment on, it's funny that you were saying what you were saying, because just recently, actually, no, about a year ago ish, my dad's wife died. I got news of that, word of that. And I'd always kind of sort of thought, once she was gone, maybe, because she was part of the issue
I
with
was
my
going to say,
dad.
did you kill her?
Yeah. She was part of the issue, but really, 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 it's him. But like them together, it was just no. It was
Toxic.
no. And so, but anyways, it's been about a year already, which is so weird. But just recently, just like not that long ago, in the last couple months or so, me and my the man that's in my life, we were talking about it. And it's so weird. I don't even know why, but I kind of started flirting around with the idea, and I haven't thought about it since, of, do I want to get in touch with my dad? And he brought it up, mentioned it to me, and I was like, no, I don't need to, da 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 da. And I started thinking about it, and this is the question I wanted to pose, is that for me, and I had thought about this before, but if you heard that he was sick, if you heard that he'd had a stroke, if you heard that this, if you had heard that, where are you going to be with that? Are you
I
going to
can
be okay with it?
I can
Are you
actually
going
answer
to?
this.
That's what I'm just saying. I just wanted to finish my thought and just say that's what I had to sit with and be like, okay, can he die and I hear about it and I'm fine and just sad for what could have been, or maybe not even that, or be like, oh my God, I should have went and saw him, oh, where am I going to be with all that? So yeah. Okay. So I'm done. Go ahead.
So I can answer this because my dad did pass away 2 years ago. And I grew up in a crazy house with my dad, who was very, very physically abusive, very, very physically abusive. Hospitals when we were younger. My mom was in and out of hospitals. And he was in Vietnam. And while he was over there, he came back wrong. And that's what was wrong with him. Okay, he came back messed up in the head, like you see in the movies. That's exactly what happened. They divorced when I was 10 or 9, something like that, but I was very young. And we still had to go over for weekends with him, where he would continue to abuse us and then say, don't tell your mom. Well, when I was 15, he beat me so badly that he slapped me on my chest, and knocked me back into a wall. But I wasn't wearing a shirt at the time, and he was already beating me, and I was already sweaty. So the handprint left a huge red mark in the perfect shape of his hand there on my little fat 10-year-old chest. And he threatened me, saying, do not show that to your mother. Well, I didn't. However, I was at my grandmother's. And, I walked around with my shirt open, which is something I never do, but they were going to see what he did to me. And that was the last time I ever saw my dad. My family put a stop to it. When he got sick, he was in Vietnam and was exposed to Agent Orange. When he got sick, he needed me to come take care of him. After telling me when I was 15 he didn't want anything to do with me because I was gay, didn't talk to me for 20 years. When we finally did get back together, and I called him because I was going through this then too. Do I want to reconnect with my dad? I just saw that. I'm so sorry to hear that, Miss Terody.
Yeah.
I went ahead and tried to make things good with my dad and tried to get past the past, even though him and my mom both have a habit of deleting certain things from the past. They don't remember.
Yep.
He doesn't remember. He doesn't remember ever raising his voice to us. He never touched us. It was my mom. She was evil. But he did get very, very sick and was going to pass, and we all knew it. So I went down, and for 3 months, I stayed with him. I took care of him. I suffered
Wow.
adult abuse from him during that period of time. He
What, his
treated
mouth?
me like shit from his mouth. He couldn't get up. You know, it was from his wheelchair. Can't you do anything? What the fuck? You know, that type of
Oh,
thing.
God.
And then my sister saw that. She saw him talking to me in a certain way, and she didn't realize it was still going on because she's twisted from it too. That she was abused in her own special way. But she called my dad out and says, "Why the fuck are you talking to him like that? He's here taking care of you. He's the only one here taking care of you, and you're treating him like shit. He's a grown ass man." And she just went off on my dad. And that's, I love my sister. Look, lump in the throat. My dad, after that, asked me, "So I need you to go ahead and move in here." He didn't ask me. He's let me know. "I need you to go ahead and move in here because I'm going to need you close at hand." And I told him, "No." And he said, "What?" I said, "Absolutely not. I'm married. I've got a family. I've got a husband. I've got a house. I've got a job. I got all this shit I got to get back to, Dad." I said, "I'm here taking care of you to help you get set up. I'm finding you somebody to come in and take care of you, but I'm not staying." And that threw him into his attitude. And when it came time for me to go to the airport, him and his girlfriend drove me, and he didn't look at me, didn't talk at me. I saw him in the rear view mirror making that face he thinks is still tough. And I went home. The next month he did pass, and I went to the funeral. And my family said, "Why did you come to the funeral if he was so bad to you?" And I said, "Because I want to make sure he's dead. I want the visualization of seeing him lowered into the ground so that I could have closure for myself."
Wow.
What we didn't expect at the funeral was this 18, 19-year-old kid to come up and introduce himself to me as
Oh, boy.
as my
Your
dad's
brother?
son. He said, "Hi, I'm Frank's son. Who are you?" And I said,
Frank's son.
"Really?" Hold that thought, sis. Called her over.
Wow.
She says, "What's up?" Because she knew when I called her over like that, something was going to pop. She said, "What's up?" And I said, "Have you met Frank's son?" And she looked at him and she went, "No visible scars." She said, "Are you sure?" And she walked away. And I was like, "We are his children." And it came out he wasn't his son. He was his girlfriend's son.
Oh, okay.
But that was just the wrong time, wrong place, wrong claim. But after he died, I went out of my way to find some kind of acceptance and closure for what had happened. I went to the gods with it. I didn't even try to do it myself. I went straight to the gods and I said, "I can't live with this hurt, this fear, this pain." And what I got was talk to my dad. So I started talking to my dad. And then I started talking to my dad through my tarot. And now I like to believe my dad is part of my spirit team.
Oh, wow.
Because there are times when I'm doing tarot and I can feel his anger and his opinion. And I weigh that. I'm sure that now he's got other things to be angry at, or he's let go of that anger, or whatever they do in Catholic world.
Interesting.
But I like to, when I'm doing cards, ponder and look at it through my dad's eyes, look at it through my aunt's eyes, look at it through my cousin's eyes. This is part of what I do when I do my spreads and my readings. I use a filter, and my dad's one of the filters I use. Do you guys do that? You're like, no, it's weird.
No, for me, with my mom, I'm still processing
Word
anger
that word
and
that
stuff.
again. Oh, sorry. What do you mean,
No,
Bobby?
yeah,
What do you mean?
Like, say you threw down a spread and you're looking at it through your eyes. Then, before you start talking, or before I start talking, I try to view it through the eyes of my aunt, the eyes of my other aunt, the eyes of my cousins, and now the eyes of my dad. And that's in part how I do my ancestor readings, is putting that filter on there.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I have never done that, but then again, I've never done that. Probably, I've not read even a fraction of what you've read. I mean, of how long I've been doing it in comparison, but to
40
read,
years.
that's very interesting. That totally makes sense that you could do that. And that's really, really cool. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
it's
different people
basically,
are going to see it different. Yeah,
it's basically asking the question, what would Heather say if she saw this spread? What would
right.
Allyson say if she saw this spread? You know, but
Yeah,
sometimes when you ask, what would this person who has passed say about this spread, you get that feeling, you get the tingles,
right.
you
Of
get
them. Yeah,
that awareness of them. And
right.
sometimes they're willing to help you in your readings, and sometimes they're not. I can't call them on demand. They're not dogs. Um, and it bothers me when everybody, I guess this is the old curmudgeon reader saying, it bothers me when people act like spirit is on a leash and they can call it whenever they want. Maybe they
yeah.
can, but a lot of the times it's not spirit that's talking, it's your own filter. But there are definitely genuine times when we all get spirit talking to us.
It says if the
Yes, and you
entry,
can tell the difference.
Well, yeah.
Or rather, what I mean is, actually, I'm sorry, go ahead. I'm probably jumping in when
No,
we're
I'm
done.
interested. Please.
So I've noticed when I've done readings where it just flows different. Like if I'm connecting with whoever it is in my spirit team, and they're definitely there because it's just coming out different. I'm seeing it differently, I'm interpreting it differently. It can be like bing 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 bing, like I get all kinds of like information all at once. And then other times I read and it's more just like me and my higher self, I guess. I don't know, I couldn't tell you what it is. It's like, I mean, I can
Spirit.
always read the cards, but it shows up
Yeah, I
like I was just
understand
mentioning.
exactly what you're saying. That happened the other day. I was reading for a client at work, and it was my first read of the day, and I hadn't warmed up. I warmed up. I hadn't done my
Right.
proper. Well, I'm
Yep.
a warm up.
All the
It is a
stuff.
warm up. All the stuff to
Yes,
prepare
it makes
for
a
a reading.
difference.
It does. I
It
sat down.
does.
Well, she came in when I was setting up, and she says, "Do you have time for a reading?" I said, "Absolutely. Hold on." I took off my jacket. I set my stuff, and I pulled out my cards, and I started. But I didn't prep. I didn't ask my guides. I didn't ask my gods. I didn't connect in any way, shape,
Very
or
different.
form. So when I laid out the cards, I didn't feel, hear, see anything. I was like, oh crap, what the hell am I going to do? So I broke down and went back to the basics, numerology. And like I was just straight. And after she left, I was like, okay, let's do this real quick,
thank you.
But yeah,
Isn't
you're
that
exactly
crazy?
right. It is. You guys in chat who do cards, if you don't prep, what do you think? Like Ange, Karen, you guys
It's
read
totally
a lot.
different.
Heather, what about you? If you don't get in the zone, so to speak, is it different for you?
Um, well, I always make sure that I call in at least Archangel Michael, because sometimes I have the habit if I'm sitting there watching something on TV and I'm seeing a case or something's being said on TV, I'm like, oh, I'm going to pull my cards on this. And sometimes I'll be like, oh, shoot, Archangel Michael, keep me safe, keep me protected. And then I'll throw, but before I go and do shows and things, I go through calling on my ancestors, my spirit guides, Archangel Michael.
I'll tell
to
you
make
why I
sure that.
giggled.
But there are times too when I do readings where some will come clear, and then like last night during the music, there was a couple that I was just kind of like, it almost kind of like my wires were getting kind of crossed, and I was having
Yeah.
a hard time kind of figuring out, well, is this or that, and so it just kind of depends on the energy that you're tuning into, because sometimes our frequencies don't always match, and
Hmm.
sometimes every now and then I get a couple readings here and there where I'm just looking and going, oh boy, I know, I just hope I know what I'm.
Yeah, when that client walked out, I was beating myself in the head saying, "You arrogant little
Have to
fuck.
prep
That's what you get." And says she has to
to
prep.
prep.
She has to.
And
I
says it's for her
agree.
own protection. And the others. Yes.
Yes.
That was
Mhm.
a
Especially through
rookie
YouTube, I
mistake that
do.
I made
Mhm.
doing that. See, 40 years, Allison, and I'm still making rookie mistakes. Um,
And I make
I
sure that I ask too for protection from any and all negative energies or entities that may be around where I live in this building, but also from anybody that I may or may not see in the chat that may or may not even be intentional. May
mhm.
everything get sent back and deflected, and for the highest good of all, harm to none. So there's yeah, it's
I
important.
giggled when you said Michael because for the past week, Archangel Michael, everybody I've talked to, when they open their mouth, the name Archangel Michael has fallen out
Mm.
of it.
He's my dude.
Everybody. So I was like, oh, here too? Really? Okay. And the thing is, I used to work with Michael because my middle name before I changed it was Michael. All the men in our family were Michael. But after I changed my name, I didn't work with Michael anymore. And it's not like we had a bad breakup and all that stuff. And I kept his sweatshirt. No. Um,
That is
I
very
just grew
interesting.
apart from
Hmm.
Michael. I think mainly because I threw myself into my witch work and
And see, for me,
prejudice on my part.
yeah,
But I
Michael is
have to
the
get over that because at Imbolc, I have to call fire and Michael is going to be called. So I have to deal with it. Apparently, I need to get back into. And you know what, Heather? This happened with the Morrigan. Remember? Everywhere I turned, and we talked about it, the Morrigan.
hmm
So, okay, if I
and I
have
haven't
to get back
decided that
into
yet
this.
too. Yeah. I
Yeah.
struggle. But with Michael, he's the only male deity, or I shouldn't I say deity, but male energy that I feel safe
I was
or
going to say because of the
comfortable to
safety
call on.
protection.
He feels very safe to me. It's not for me. I prefer or tend to feel safer working and calling on feminine energies. But Michael, I feel extremely safe with, and so and I call him my dude. You
My
know,
dude, that's
um,
what Nancy, he's her guy.
And Isadora says, I have several prayers I say, plus ask my ancestors and animal and spirit guides. Yes, Isadora.
Hmm. So that's interesting you say spirit guides because I just had this talk today. My team is my spirit guides, um, which is my angels, Raphael, basically.
Ninja Turtles. Shelby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Gabriel, Raphael. Those are my two angels.
Hmm.
Healing and communication. And then I've got my gods, my ancestors, my animal guides,
Hmm.
um, and a couple friends from when I was young.
What were you going to say, Allison? I didn't mean to cut you off.
I don't remember.
I'm
It was
sorry, hon. I
several
was
minutes
reading
ago.
something
It's
and I
I'm
didn't
okay.
mean to.
sorry. I get so
No,
excited
it's
when
fine.
I'm with you guys. I tend to cut
It's
people
fine.
off. I'm
Um,
like, somebody to talk to. Yes.
Karen says, my environment limits the extent I would like to prepare. Yeah, with the little babies and stuff. Yeah.
I'll say this. I do the same thing, like almost exactly every single time. And then at the end, there might be some specifics thrown in for whatever I'm about to do. But like I address the same group. I do it pretty much in the same order. I like the whole rhythm of it. It's at my altar, my ancestor altar, but I'm addressing more than my ancestors when I'm standing there. Because I have a couple archangels, I have several animal spirits, and then my own angels and guides. So, but the way I say it, what I say, I don't even know when it started. It's
It just
almost like
became a
a
part of you, huh?
mantra. And it's like, and I get really into it, and and I have a candle, and I have a chalice that's over there of water, and usually a coffee, sometimes maybe not.
I'm not good
Um,
at ritual. My
it's not
ritual,
really
Same
a
here.
ritual because I only do it when I'm going to read and this, and that, whatever. I do visit it at other times, but I'm talking about before reading. But anyways, that's all I
well,
wanted to say.
I'm talking ritual before reading. That can go anywhere
Mhm.
from in my head to please
Oh,
gods and guides help me do this reading properly, and which prompted me to write the oath. But those inner thoughts could also be, Lord, help me get through this reading without killing a bitch. So it can go. There's a scale, right? But yeah. And I got that from when I was a
I
hairstylist. I
love
worked
that.
with this black
That
girl, and
is
she was one of my
hilarious.
besties. And she called me in one day, and she says, "I need to pray." I said, "I'm not Christian." She says, "So what?" She grabbed my hand. She says, "Lord, keep me from killing this bitch immediately." And she walked away. And I was like, "What the hell just happened?" So
That's
now
the
that's
best.
my mantra: Lord,
Oh,
keep me from
Right.
killing this bitch.
That is hilarious.
yes.
Mm.
And
But
Karen says, I love when Bobby says, calm your, you know what.
calm your tits.
True enough. It doesn't have to
My
sound like,
niece says, "Cool your tits."
yeah.
Yeah. It gets people's attention.
Oh, she said that for years. It's hilarious.
So, Bobby, you mentioned in bulk a little while ago, and I think that's a perfect segue. It's
That
pronounced
is.
in bulk or imog, and that's tomorrow. So, for if anybody in chat celebrates, but it is the day of Saint Bridget, or actually the goddess Bridget,
I'm
who's
just
was
grabbing
turned
something
to
in
a
2
saint.
seconds.
And it's the I'm trying to remember now. I'm such a bad girl. Is this a cross set? No, it's not a. Here, I'll let you talk about because I can never remember the cross.
Neither
What they
can I. think
consider
it's a
cross quarters.
cross.
It's a cross,
I
yes.
think it's a cross because we just had a major,
So it's a cross holiday, but it's in between when the earth
and I
starts
can
to
never
awaken,
remember
the
either.
goddess,
It begins
and
to quicken. Yeah,
yeah,
Allyson.
Allyson like quickening,
The earth
and
begins
yes,
to
Jackie
quicken.
posted on her video. She makes Bridget's crosses,
We're
and
doing
she
that at
channeled
Info.
some.
I'm
So
excited.
yes, and hello, Sandy.
Oh, is that the
Good
one
to
that
see.
kind of looks like a
Yeah, kind of a
like a
windmilly, a pinwheel.
yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah. Yep.
yeah.
mine's packed away, so I
It's
can't
got
put it.
4
Bridget is
countries.
somebody who is she's our coven's patron goddess.
Oh, is
Um,
she?
that's
Three.
the coven's patron goddess. Mine, uh, um, Bridget and the Dagda, I believe, are the two that the coven
Mm-hmm.
calls.
The
But
two. Yeah.
everybody has their personal deities also that we
Mm-hmm.
work with. And yes, this is the time when the earth is warming up. We're going from winter into spring. So it's time to
Oh,
shed
thank God.
the
Well,
winter
we're having a snowstorm here tonight. So pretty.
last hurrah.
I'm so glad. I'm so over it.
Really?
It went by so
Oh.
fast. So
Oh.
What are you
yeah.
guys doing for Imbolc? I'm going to have coven. What are you guys doing?
I'm a solitary, so I don't get to do anything that's coven like. But I don't know. I might actually do a pop up tomorrow if I'm feeling better. I found a nice little in bulk spread, so I may go on and do a collective with the. I just have to see how I'm feeling tomorrow.
Mhm.
But Pinterest has a lot of wonderful. You just type in whatever, Sabbath or cross quarter. You just whatever type of tarot spread you're looking for, and they start popping up. And I found a nice one today for
Oh,
in bulk. So, but and one of the things I watched, there's a wonderful channel called the Story Crow. It's called his channel's name is Story Crow, and he did one on Bridget, and he's wonderful. He's from the area, and he shares all the different stories and the mythologies. He's a wonderful storyteller. But Gerald and Richie did a show today, and they were saying one of the rituals that Richie does. I think it was Richie or somebody in chat. um, I can't do this because I don't have my own yard, and where I live, I can't really do something like this. But you can take a scarf or some sort of piece of fabric that you hang out on the tree. So as in bulk, night, Bridget can come by and put her blessing on the wind. It gets carried into the wind. She puts it into your scarf or your handkerchief or something. And then during the year, if you're not feeling well, you can nestle with it. You can work with it on your altar and stuff. So I thought that was beautiful. I wanted to share that.
An interesting thing about Bridget, I pronounce it breed.
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 Mm-hmm.
I pronounce it breed. She's a fire goddess.
Mm-hmm.
That's why she's gonna come and warm up the earth for us. She's a fire goddess. She works in a smith. Homegirl's a forger. I don't
Yep.
mean checks.
Nancy and I are going to talk about her on Divine Feminine on Monday, so very excited for that. Oh, good night, Nancy. Get some rest, honey.
Nancy
You've
is
been
going to
stressing.
be on
Hi,
my
Nancy.
channel reading with me next week, and that is actually going to be, oh crap. Well, I'll tell them, Nancy.
Shelby.
It is no. I've lost
The 8th.
Nancy. The 8th.
The 8th.
Yep. That's when we're doing Nancy. Okay.
So is in bulk always February 1st?
No.
Yes. Oh.
Yes. There's debate whether it's the 1st or 2nd. It kind of.
It sometimes goes towards the 2nd a little bit for Candlemas, where it's more like the Christianized version. With the candles as the crown, and you're a little bit more, Saint Bridget, but in bulk is always, the 1st. But of course, people are going to be able to celebrate it during to their schedules. But yeah, they named it February 1st. Mm-hmm.
So this might be a silly question, but I'm going to ask anyway.
No silly questions.
So, given what what I'm understanding it to be, wouldn't that be a really good time to start? Unless it would be considered selfish and you should wait a day or so or whatever. But wouldn't that be a great time to start manifesting something?
Yes.
Yes.
That's exactly right. You're shedding the winter, you're shedding the old, and preparing for new growth.
Exactly.
Happening. Think Empress. This is the time of the Empress.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely. So if you've got bad habits you want to get rid of, now is the time to take off that coat. I visualize clothing when I'm shedding things. This coat represents my bad temper. This is,
right.
These type of things. I used to try to imagine skin peeling off of me, but it was really a damaging visualization to me, so I stopped doing that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
And Karen says also,
especially if you're good at visualizing.
Good time to declutter too.
Yep, spring cleaning. That's exactly what it is. Open those doors and let the wind through to cleanse your house. Sweep out with your besom or your broom. Sweep the bad things out. Then spray your house with whatever you would like to sage your house with. Yes.
Lovely. Yes. Oh, this stuff is wonderful. My favorite spray and smudge and say yes. Perfect.
I keep rocking back and forth. I have a rocky chair is the whole reason.
I have a habit of doing that, and I think a lot of times it's comforting because a lot of times when we're children, our mothers will rock us.
Self-soothing.
I had tardive dyskinesia for a few weeks one time because of a medication they put me on, and that's the one where you're going like this.
Oh, I've seen that.
I didn't know I was doing
I didn't know what it was
My
called,
husband says, "What the hell are you doing that for?" And I was like, "Doing what? I don't know what you're talking about." So I had to go to the doctors, and they redid it. Isadora wants to know what that spray is.
It's a wonderful spray that a dear friend made, Isadora. If you're interested, I will see if I can reach out to my friend who made it. I don't know if they plan on, making more or maybe selling it in the future. It was a gift for me, so I'll let you know. And Shelby says, I have ADHD. I'm always moving and fidgeting. And Karen says the struggle is real for the ADHD. Yes.
Oh, I'll resist the temptation to comment on that because that'll be a long, long, long.
Oh, because it has to do
rabbit
with
hole.
health and diet and stuff.
Well, there's a lot on that. I do want to comment and make a quick detour, super quick, to something that
Sure.
we were talking about a few minutes ago, just briefly, and we don't have to stay there. But I just wanted to comment that about our parents. It's interesting how, and we're hardwired for this, probably for survival or whatever the hell, but it's like we love our parents no matter what. On a deep, true level, or most people do. Maybe some people don't, but most people, even if they were horrible, horrible, horrible crap, there's a love, especially for the mother, that is there no matter what on some level. You can mourn and be sad and be angry and be hurt and be tortured and this and that and whatever, but there's usually some level of love for the mother. And it's just a hardwired thing. It doesn't even have to be anything beyond that. It's like we're just wired to have that. Just like kind of like the whole this is not the same thing, but I'm just going to mention it. Similar but not the same. But like the whole reason not the whole reason. One of the benefits of nursing your children is the connection that's made and the pitocin that's given off when you're nursing your child, the mother to the child, and that's the love that is the connection that is made. Now, a lot of people unfortunately don't nurse their kids, and so they don't get that in that same way, but you still get the connection. But I'm just saying that's one of the things. There's just all these things from nature, let me just put it this way, that are hardwired in to make that connection between parents, mothers, and kids. I think the father as well, but that's more, it's not quite as intense. And I had a word and I just lost it. So, but yeah, I just wanted to comment on that.
I forgot one important detail. That will explain some of the problems between me and my dad is that I look exactly like him. Exactly. Right? Nose and everything. Nose, eyebrows, the whole thing. I look like him. However, my mom got pregnant with him, but married somebody else. So when I was born, I had another man's name and I looked just like him. But after I was born, then my mom married my dad. So my stepdad is my blood dad. And he had to live with me and call me by another man's name the entire time he lived with us. And he hated it. So he resented me because of that. And before he died, that's when he changed my name. My name used to be Jerry Garcia. Yeah, I saw the grin, Heather.
Wow.
So
for people who are like, why does that name sound familiar? The Grateful Dead.
The Grateful Dead. Yeah.
Bobby, so I got to ask something really quickly. So your dad was in Vietnam.
Yep.
This was before you were conceived, right?
Yeah, I was conceived. He went to Vietnam.
You were conceived, and then he went to Vietnam.
Yeah. Both men that my mom was hooked up with, I believe, were in the military.
Got it. Okay. So was your dad okay before Vietnam? Mentally?
I don't know.
So you don't know, and I believe you, but I'm just saying.
I believe when my family says he was different before Vietnam. He was a musician. He played trumpet, guitar. He was a singer, which I got.
Okay. So the wackadoo shit was
Vietnam.
Damage from
the
Vietnam.
Animal out of the cage. Yeah.
So it was mental illness.
Yeah.
I'm not giving him a pass.
No.
I'm not.
So
I'm just
I'm
saying.
assuming, because I knew my grandparents and they were abusive too. So
Okay. So there's it. That's information though.
yeah.
So that's information. Okay. All right. I was just curious. And so in spirit, and that's part of the reason I'm asking, because you were mentioning how in spirit
I
you
can
pick
feel
up on
anger.
his anger. And it's like, well, what the fuck? I mean, you're
Well,
supposed to.
I know that he lets go. People let go of everything when they pass. However,
I don't think
they can
everybody does.
still. Yeah, I have my issues on that too.
Yeah, I don't believe in that. Yeah.
I'm hoping he let go of a lot of his anger and everything after he passed, that it just didn't matter anymore. However, if I'm asking his spirit to help me with something and he looks at that spread and he says, "This bitch is lying to you," or something like that in my head, I can still feel how he would react to this. I can still feel the anger on some things. I can feel there are some spreads I do for people when I look at them, and the emotion I see or feel when I do the spread. That's where the Heyoka empath comes in. It's emotions that I'm feeling with my client, but then you throw the other things in there, and those it's hard for me to explain. I've never had to really explain it. Sovereignty is a problem sometimes. When I first started doing YouTube, you can look back and see me really struggling to hold on to who I am in the videos as I'm relaying spirit messages, because I was thinking, oh my God, they're on the other side of the world. I have to really throw myself into this. So I was literally throwing everything into my spreads and my readings, and it was tiring me out so much. Yeah, I had to learn how to anchor myself properly, and that goes back to what we were saying about prepping before readings. I prep for YouTube readings a little differently than I prep for in-person readings, because the in-person reading, their energy is right in front of me and hitting me in the frickin' face.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yes.
But with YouTube readings, I have to stretch for that cord.
And there's a
to
buffer.
bring it in. Yeah.
A safer, yeah.
Yeah. But doing this flexes your muscles. Anybody who wants to know how to flex your psychic muscles, tarot, pick up a frickin' tarot deck and start practicing, because that'll do it. But yeah, you can see the difference between then and now. I would get dizzy. I would get, when you're in that liminal space and you can't make your words match what you're thinking. That was how it used to be.
Well, not all the time, but
sometimes I have to anchor myself with certain crystals. Sometimes I
ringtone.
have to do certain prayers. So sometimes in a reading, if I'm losing myself like that, I have to seriously beg, "Great Goddess, help me. I'm not just do something, help me." I was doing, was it on YouTube or for a phone client? I can't remember. I've talked about it live before, but somebody jumped in. One of their spirit guides kind of slammed into me, and it took me hard and fast by surprise, and I was almost possessed, so to speak. And I was confused. How can this happen? And I was talking with my client about it, and she says that would be this person. He was a shaman, and I'm like, "You're doing this, and you let me loose with an Indian shaman who's," and I was like, it was, I wasn't prepared for somebody to jump in and try to hijack my reading. So that's why when I do
that wasn't good.
YouTube, no,
because they didn't get your permission for that either.
No.
Yeah.
I understand why the reading, there was something she really didn't understand and really needed to understand. And once I relayed that information, she understood what was going on. But no, I wasn't prepared for that. And I've never had that happen like that before, and it hasn't happened since. But it kind of scared me a little bit, you
Mm-hmm.
know, because again, I got a little arrogant, thinking, "No, my guards, my shields, I got this. I got my guides, I got." But no, it took me by surprise.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Has that ever happened to you guys?
There have been
No.
times when I've done some show. I've been on for 3 years now doing live shows, and there have been a few times where during readings I have to like reinforce or recall because I'll be reading and then I'll start getting woozy. I will literally
Woozy.
start going in and out woozy, and I'm like, no, it's either, somebody I'm reading for or somebody in chat who is either intentionally or unintentionally sending something. And it's just
Uh-huh.
like, and then I'll automatically know, okay, I got to call in, and,
Yeah.
Archangel Michael, come,
Bring in the
it
big
doesn't
guns.
happen every time, but there are occasionally where there is something where I will be saying, and I'll be fine. And all of a sudden, whoa. And then, okay, then it's gone, because I'm like, nope, boundaries, light,
Karen,
so
Karen says, I remember a few lives, Bobby, where you were
good night, Miss
experiencing
Tarot
that.
D.
Good night, Miss Tarot D. Yes, Karen. When I first started, I had
Mhm.
to adjust. Um, it it's scary almost sometimes, but that one time, and it didn't scare me. It pissed me off, and I told my client that too. I was like, that was just plain rude. And I tried to make a
Mhm.
joke out of it, but yeah.
So have you ever had that experience, Allison?
No.
Mm-mm.
But I don't
Do a lot of live.
um I don't I in comparison, I haven't done as much like live type readings. And again, and then when I do them, I do all my protection stuff and whatever. But yeah,
She
I
said,
understand how it could happen anyway. And the person that you're reading for, so like Bobby, you're talking about you would have done all your protection stuff, but the person that you were reading for, you were connecting with somebody that was a shaman, or they had a guide
they
that was a shaman in real life.
their guide was a shaman, and this is the
Got it.
shaman who
Okay.
introduced her to her husband, and
Okay.
it was a
And
whole
he
thing.
came through in the
And he
reading.
came through in a reading,
Okay.
and had I known she had spirit guides like that, um, I think I don't know if it would have been any different because this guy is just
Right.
more skilled than I was. I could feel it. Um,
Uh,
but Karen said, yes, it has happened. If you like, oh, there it is. You've had some anomalies happen.
Lights flickering and stuff, yeah.
Look
Oh,
at the
I've had
last
that happen.
Look at the last live I did with Jay, Majestic Oracle. I had
And you had
just
something fly
started the
off the
live.
wall.
Something flew off the fucking wall. It was a mirror, and it didn't shatter. It fell down, and it's still down because I didn't want to put it back up. And
And
she had something. Her lights were jacking up that day too. So
hmm
now,
and Carolyn said, Allison, you have a beautiful glow of love surrounding you.
doesn't she?
Oh,
Allison is one
nice.
of the most peaceful people. Her and Ramon. Your
Peaceful?
energy.
Peaceful? You don't
I.
know the real Allison then.
You don't.
Just
Well,
kidding. She's my
Oh,
girl.
my
She knows
energy.
I'm
Oh,
your
crazy.
I think I know
energy.
what you mean.
Your
Yeah.
Yeah.
energy is safe. Your energy is peaceful
Yeah.
to me.
It actually, wow. Yeah, it actually is. Yeah.
Beautiful
Yeah.
waves.
That's so
Yeah.
interesting. Wow. Interesting.
Like
Thank you.
Ramon. And I'll tell you this. We all were younger at one point in time, and we
Oh
all
yeah.
were probably hellions. Um, look at Ramon, the most spiritual person I know. That boy used to be a club kid. Okay, so we all come from.
And he released a new beautiful video too today with him singing on it.
I understand.
Oh, Allison, you will love it. He did a song for Santa Muerte. Beautiful song for her. Really gorgeous.
I'm
Plays
gonna
the
repost
music,
that on my
sings and
website too.
everything. Yeah.
But yeah, we all come from that type of
I was afraid you
Yeah,
crazy.
I
did.
guess I did
I
a
know. I couldn't be
little.
like that.
I mean, it was very tame compared to what was going on around me, but I had a little rebellion. Um, yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
I
You know, probably the worst thing that I did,
killed a man just
it
to watch
was
him die.
Excuse me.
It was the guys that I dated. I liked the bad boys. That would be the thing. And
So
then
did
me
I.
defending them and seeing all of their beauty and loving them in spite of it and all of
Trying to
that.
fix them is what you mean.
Oh, bad boys are fun. I mean, I don't do it anymore, but it's like, I mean, that's where it was at for sure.
Yeah, I was a
No,
car
I mean,
thief, drug addict,
I
homeless.
yeah,
live under the fear of
yeah,
my mom. I did
I was a
anything, she said
survivor.
she'd throw me out on the street. So I was scared. So I
Yeah,
was afraid of doing anything, or because I wouldn't. She goes, "Your dad's not going to take you. Where do you think you're going to go? You live on the streets. You can't survive without me." And I would be terrified,
I'm
you
so
know.
sorry.
So I didn't really dare step out of line, you know, too much. You know, I had to
Parents can
behave.
really fuck us up.
you know, I gotta say this too. So it's so amazing. Actually, amazing probably isn't the right word. So this is the thing. I just want to say this one little comment, and I kind of said something about this earlier, but it's so, and I don't know if this goes back to us as a spirit and what all we've already done, or if it's just our personality in this lifetime, or where the tolerances are, or what it is. But like my parents both did things that I was not okay with. Now, as a kid, I didn't know better because I was a kid. But as I grew and got older and matured and learned and this and that, whatever, I pushed back and I said my piece to both of them. It was very, drew a line in the
I tried
sand
that. My
and
mom
did all
didn't
of that.
remember
Well, I just wanted to
anything.
say, with my mom, it was fine because it wasn't nearly as bad. With my dad, it was like, see ya, bye. This is where we part. I'm done. But the reality is, what my dad did compared to what other people that I know, their dads did, and they're still family. So it's amazing how different we all are in terms of what we'll put up with, what we're going to
Their
tolerate, what we're
boundaries
going to
are.
stay with, what our boundaries are, what the blah, blah, blah. Like if I sat there and told my whole story to somebody about my dad, they'd be like, "Damn, and you don't have anything to do with him, and that's all he did." It's like, yeah, because
That's
I
enough.
no, I got
If
no,
it
no, I got
crosses your
no,
boundaries,
nope,
then you
I
know.
got no time for it. Not dealing, nope, nope. And so yeah, and that's not right, wrong, or whatever. It's just a perspective. It's like it's really amazing how different. But do you have karma with that person and you want to heal it, or you don't, or you're just more forgiving, or maybe I just won't put up with bullshit, or whatever it is. It's just interesting how different we all decide who's fired and who gets to stay. It's just very interesting.
I think I work with Hermes because he is the god of boundaries. Working with him,
Mm.
I can set boundaries. I never regret setting my boundaries. If my boundaries have offended you, that's on you, not on me.
I agree.
Mhm. Same thing with
You
my
know, that
sister
means
right now.
it's like
Yeah.
that saying, if the sage I'm burning in my house makes you upset or bothers you, well, then the sage is fucking working. You need to get out of my house. Okay, I don't.
Unless you're allergic to it and they have to go, sorry, you gotta go. It's okay.
I'm sorry. It's like when people come into my house and the dogs are on the couch and they say, "Get off." I'm like, "Nope. Yeah, this is their couch."
Hmm.
I have weird boundaries, you guys. I'm sorry.
No, I think that's awesome. And people that well, yeah, don't even get started about the dog thing. Yeah. Yeah.
I would rather be
Couches were
around
made for
animals.
dogs and
Yeah, I would
cats.
rather be around animals than people a lot of the
People,
A
time.
lot of people
exactly.
are like that. Yes. Yeah.
Hmm.
I have 5 dogs and 2 cats.
Hey, John. Yep. Because you wrote the test answers on your hand. Oh, okay. I see where that was coming from. Okay. I was just like, what are you talking about, John? But then he was just responding to Karen. I don't know how I graduated with honors. And John said, because you wrote the test answers on your hand. John. So, yeah, talking about, with me, with my mother, I know that it may take the rest of my life to be able to come to terms, but there's such a trauma that sometimes when I wake up, if I'm laying down taking a nap or I'm waking up in the morning, I sometimes think instead of Shan laying next to me, it's my mom there. And I'll go into, panic mode, I get scared. So I know right now there is no way in how that, and I've had people, oh, you got to forgive her. You got to, just get over it.
No,
And
you
instead,
gotta
and I'm like,
forgive
no,
her. I
I
don't
do it
have to
on
do
my
jack
own,
shit.
And sometimes people have brought up things with my mom without even asking me. And I'm like, no, I did not ask. You did not ask me if it was okay to give me a message. You did not ask, she did not ask if it was okay for, for us to get, no, I have to keep that boundary in place. Sometimes when I get angry and things happen in my life, I will get upset and I will still yell at her. I will get angry with her. And then there are times when I'll turn around and say, okay, I give her credit. I'm like, I understand. I do love you, but this has got, I can't do, you know what I mean? It's my boundaries, it's my time, it's my process. So,
I get
um,
that.
people who, say, well, you have to forgive, or they give you the message without your permission, it's
I
just like,
tell
you
them,
don't
"How
know.
dare you? How
It's like,
dare
I
you
didn't
assume to
ask,
know what the hell I've
and
gone through?"
you don't know what I went through exactly. So don't think that just because they're like nice and light or whatever on the other side, it's like, oh no, you can no, 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 no,
Karen
no,
says she was a brat. I believe it. So,
no.
um, the thing,
But
Heather,
yeah,
people who have gone through some kind of trauma with their parents, it leaves a
hey
mark. And I
Kristen.
think we recognize those marks in other people spiritually without even
Mhm.
saying anything. Because I know a lot of my
Oh,
friends,
that's an interesting subject.
I'm
Yes.
I
Yes.
gravitate towards broken toys, towards broken people because I'm broken inside trying to rebuild myself. Um,
Like attracts
Mhm.
like attracts like, exactly. And the people that I have in my life, yes, they all come from questionable backgrounds, but every one of them is a force of light right now, working
Mhm.
towards a better future, you
Yeah.
know.
And I've been told. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Allison.
I was just going to say something that's interesting too, that kind of goes along with what you were saying, Bobby, is how, and this isn't aimed at anybody, it's just a general thing that I've noticed. So actually, and I've experienced this too. The person that you're with, as in a intimate partnership, right? Whether it's a lover, spouse, long term, whatever, or even just somebody you're dating for a while, almost always from what I've seen, the whole like attracts like, that you're on an energetic level when you come together, right? There's a mirroring in some way, even if you're not aware of it. And often I've noticed when people, or I shouldn't say often, there's been a few times where I've noticed, especially in my own relationship, when somebody starts healing, that partnership's going to dissolve because the
Mm,
person that's not
mm,
doing any damn work, you just can't hang. Usually the person that's healing is one's going to go away, or it could go the other way, right?
Once you
Especially if it's an
start
empath
healing,
and
that
a,
other person tends to think you're nuts
or that can happen too,
and
especially if you
then
have an
gaslight
empath and
you.
exactly, and like a narcissist or whatever, or just whatever the situation is, or you're both really fucked up and you just stay together,
Right.
right? Nobody
Codependent
does any
relationship.
healing, you just support each other's dysfunction forever. Or I mean, it can look so many different ways. My whole point is that it's so interesting how, and you could be totally different personalities, this, that, and whatever, but there's some, like you said, there's some sort of understanding, or people that have been together, or actually I'll just say this is separate, but the, like I was talking about the whole bad boy thing with me, I didn't realize it till many years later. Many of the guys that I dated when I was younger, and I didn't date a lot, usually I would go out with you a couple times and then you were my boyfriend, and we would be together for a good year, 2 years, whatever, that would end, then there'd be another one, right? I had boyfriends, but those guys, almost all of them had fucked up relationships with their dads. Almost every single one of them. Not in a good way. And yeah, I didn't have a great thing with my dad, but my dad was not physically abusive, sexually abusive. He wasn't abusive in any way. He was just kind of like, even though he got me every weekend, he just wasn't available
He wasn't there.
mentally, verbally, emotionally, physically. He just wasn't, he just barely engaged, you know, because he was so
That's
absorbed in himself,
awful.
right? That's neglect. It's a form of
Yeah.
neglect, a form of, I'm not trying to make it be like it was, I'm just saying it was so empty and void. I was like, F you, you don't care to know me, you're not going to know me. That's
You know
basically
the
what it
one
was.
commercial that jacked me up when I was a kid, but taught me a lot? There was a commercial when I was about 7 or 8 of this little 7 or 8-year-old girl. They showed her finishing the dishes. "Mom, look, I did the dishes." And you hear the mother say, "Well, did you remember to wipe down the sink?" And the little girl's face just shattered. Um, that taught me a lot growing up. It
Mhm.
taught me to finish a job, first of all, but also it reinforced I can't really go to my parents for anything. They're not going to see me. They're not going to approve of me. And with that, I gave up on
Mhm.
myself. I gave up on
Oh,
myself as I was going to just be beat up at home. I was going to be beat up at school. There's nothing I can do about it. And I gave in.
Mm.
But um,
Yeah.
that hopelessness as a child and all the trauma we went through, it fuels me and it makes me not want to let anybody else be alone, not allow them to be lonely. Um,
right,
seeing that happening to somebody being ostracized, it that's my trigger right there. That's it.
right,
You know,
right,
if I
right.
see
You're going to
you,
stick up for the underdog. You're going to
I
take
lost
care.
all my teeth, my front teeth, because I was at a bar passing by and I saw this one kid, we were about 20 at the time. I saw this one kid pushing a smaller guy around, and I went over to him and I was like, "Dude, first of all, that's my friend. You don't need to." And we got into it. I interjected myself into what was going on. Well, he whooped my ass. He was a boxer. I didn't know about that, and I lost all my teeth. And I used to fight. I was a good fighter, but
Sucker punch. Yeah.
and no, he didn't sucker punch me.
No. Oh, okay.
He gave just went to town on me. And then when I was on the ground, his two friends came over and started kicking me. I lost all my teeth. That's why I wear falsies. Um, and you know what? I would do the same fucking thing all over again. I would do it again. I've asked myself, would I change anything? No. I would go back in and stop him from doing to that kid what he did to me. Um, I don't like bullies. I hate bullies. I don't like bullies of any kind.
Mm.
I think a lot of us take our experience, and we all had very different childhoods and what we got from it and all that, and hopefully you learn from it, even if it's unconscious, and you go, because I did, but it's different than what you experienced. But like what I experienced from my parents, and I'm not even going to go into my mom, but I just like gave an example of my dad. But there was a lot of, especially because I grew up, my dad, my parents divorced when I was like 5 and a half. And then I lived with my mom, even though I just saw my dad every weekend. But I lived with my mom, and my mom was kind of like not really available in a lot of different ways. I mean, she worked and she just worked a lot. And then she ended up with a boyfriend, and she kind of sort of started letting my sister just kind of run the house. And it was kind of a borderline neglectful situation. It really was. I was so incredibly present and still am in every single way for my son as a result of that.
That's
Very
awesome.
involved in his school. My son never cried without getting immediate care, attention as an infant and as a toddler and everything else. And did I end up helicoptering a bit? I did. Yeah, I did. But I was there and he felt safe, and I
That's that
oversaw
peaceful
everything.
You
energy
did
I
an
was
amazing
saying.
job on
I
him.
took
Yeah.
him to school, and I was involved in his school, and I was in the classroom, and like I did all the stuff that wasn't done for me because of what doesn't wasn't done for me. And so it's very interesting how, and like you're, again, it's a different story, but it's like because of what you went through, you went completely the other direction. That's what I did too.
Mm.
So it's like
Yeah.
it's oh, and then the other thing I wanted to say really quickly, and I'm curious what you think of this, Bobby, because I've already talked to Heather about it. So what do you, and it's just, there's no right or wrong, just your opinion. What do you think, if anything, when you come into this life, do you think you or whoever, you, your guides, whatever, had decided, okay, these are some bullet points. We're going to learn these things. We're going to learn about the shit that you went through as a kid? Or do you think it's just luck of the draw? Do you think it's totally just random? Do you just think, oh, it's just a cruel planet? Do you think it's a combination of those things? Do you have no idea? What do you think about that?
I've asked that question of myself a lot over the years. Because yes, I do believe in reincarnation. A lot of us do. A great percentage of us do.
I do.
I had in the 90s, I think it was, a past life reading. And they showed me 3 of my past lives. And I knew the guy was legit because I've had a lot of readings throughout my life, but this guy sat me down and I could feel things. As soon as you sit down, those readings when you're like, and click. It just, I felt it. All right. And he talked me through it. And as he's saying the visualization, it's like a wormhole he was leading me through. And he's saying, okay, this way, now this way. But it got to the point where I was visualizing the turn before he said it. And he says, there we go. And I was like, there we go. Well, oh my God, we're in sync. Okay. And he showed me 3 of my past lives. And in each of those past lives, I was spiritual in some way. One was a warrior priest in the Han dynasty type thing. One was a like Haitian woman on the beach wearing gauze with her arms up, and one was, I think, Italian or French clergy in the Catholic Church with the little cap. And in every one, everybody wanted more of me than I was willing to give.
Interesting.
Now I believe my purpose is to help people, to be open. One of my meditations with the gods, I was feeling all proud of myself because I had reached a certain level on what I thought I should be. And I heard her voice in my head talking to him, saying, now let's see how he handles the world. And I was like, the world? Huh? And I panicked. But it was shortly thereafter I stumbled on YouTube readings, and I was like, oh, this could be my outlet to spread my love around the world, to spread news of the God and Goddess around the world, to unite people, which is what I like to do. I'm a Leo. I was born to get the party started. That's what I do. So in answer to your question, yes, I think I was told to be more open, be more helpful, and be involved in the lives of the people around me. I don't think it's any accident that every single version of A Christmas Carol is my favorite. Everything. Because I think that's what I am. I was the Scrooge in former lives, and now I'm Scrooge after his nightmares, run-ins with the ghostesses. So yeah, I think I'm supposed to help people. I don't.
So you got the lesson though. You learned.
Yeah, I don't think
and a lot of people don't.
Yeah, I don't think I have a choice in the matter. If I want to be part of the divine messenger service after I pass, I need to be willing and to show I can do it while I'm alive.
And so, Kristen says, I think it's the luck of the draw. I don't believe in soul contracts. Some people do, some people don't.
Yeah, but I'm trying for a goal here. I'm trying to be part of the divine messenger system after I pass, part of the Hermes system. I want to work for Hermes. I want to work for Hecate. I want to deliver their messages. That is my goal. I think that's what differentiates me from most of the people I know. This is a job interview for me. This life is a job interview, and that's how I view it.
Interesting. I like that. Yeah, because I don't want to. No more lifetimes. I don't want to keep doing this.
I'm saying, let me elevate myself. I don't want to come back anymore. I can't do it.
And Shelby
See,
says,
and that's interesting. So, like what Heather just said, how do we? Well, we don't know, or we don't not know. You can come in and have some crazy ass hard shit written for yourself because on the other side everything's all kick ass and lovely, and you think, oh, I can handle it. I'm good. I got this, right? And then you come down here and you're like, oh my God, and it might be too much. Too much that you don't even do a damn thing. You just sit there and or whatever. I mean,
yeah,
because I know some people that have a really easy cake life, and they always have. They always have.
Yeah.
My brother-in-law, I'm just going to call him out because he'll never see this, and he's a lovely guy. I love him to death. He's great. He is. He's fabulous. There's nothing bad to say. He has had a great life from jump. Just great. Yes, he ended up he's got one health issue that's not even a real health issue, honestly. Not really. That's it. That's it. He was born into a wealthy family. He got a wonderful upbringing. He attended a very nice university, ended up with a really nice job. He's got a beautiful family. They don't want for anything. Nothing, I mean, knock on wood. I mean, he's still got years to come. Maybe something bad would happen. My point is, some people come in and have an easy go of it. And then you got all the way up to, we all know somebody that their life is just a friggin' train wreck.
Right.
And it's just like, good God, and it's just like, and then there's every shade of gray in there between. And it's like, what's up with that? It's like, how evolved you are spiritually. Did you partly decide, you know what, I'm going to come in and have a cakewalk this time. Let's make this one easy. I'm just here to help my kids, right? The kids I'm going to birth in that lifetime. And I think that's a possibility too. Maybe you come in sometimes just to help out other people, and you kind of take it light.
Unless somebody sits in my chair and asks about their sole purpose in this life, which I do readings on that, unless they specifically ask me about that, I keep my mouth shut. Okay. I ask myself a couple questions. Does this need to be said? Does this need to be said now? And does this need to be said by me? If any of those are no, I avoid saying. And I agree, Heather, what Karen said about your hair looking gorgeous.
Okay.
And I was a hairstylist, so take it from me.
By the morning, it'll be all like, but I had a bath tonight, so.
Yeah, I think some people do have it really, really easy without trying. Is that their reward for past lives? I don't know. I can only answer me.
I hadn't even thought about that, but yeah, that could be it too. Or I'm just curious if there's no way to know. Do we have any, like, this one's going to be easy, I'll do it hard the next time, or this is what I want to learn this time, or because I really do think, and again, who the hell knows? If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. My ego is not that big. Whatever. I really don't care. But it's like, I really think it's quite possible that we do decide what lessons we want to learn. There's some very specific things that we choose, and the rest of it is just you decide as you go.
Right.
Like I really do think you choose your parents. You choose who your kids are going to be, certain
I think
things
for some
like
people
that.
You can choose. Some people are just assigned.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that it's just, like I've had a couple, I'll go ahead and go into this too, and I'm curious. I think Heather and I have talked about this before. I have had certain people that showed up when they showed up in my life. I was like, oh, new player just entered. Like I could almost just feel or pick up
Hi,
this is going to be
Alexis.
significant.
Mhm.
I talked about it once when I met my mother-in-law from when I was married years ago. When I met that woman, I had an emotional reaction, and I didn't know her from Adam. But at the same time, parallel, I was so thrilled to see her. I was
Right.
so excited to see her again, kind of, is what it was. You know what I mean? It's because I knew her. I knew her on a soul level, and I was ecstatic to see her, to be in her
You've
presence, to be around her
you
again.
guys have heard me talk about this. That um
It's
life I
happened a
told
few
you about, the
times.
Hun, when I was a warrior on horseback priest type thing. I was telling that story to my friend Angel, who is a Reiki master. And as I'm telling him, he finished the fucking story. All right. He knew because he had had the same vision.
Oh, wow.
So we had known each other in the past. And I believe the
Very
people
cool.
I'm meeting now, they're so comfortable to me. And it feels exactly like what you were saying. Like I've
Yeah.
known you before.
Yeah.
And some people I've known you before and I don't like you. Yes, it's true.
Interesting.
And I have to tell myself, if you didn't like them before, maybe you're supposed to like them now. So give them a chance.
I think that's possible as well. And
Yes.
the person that I'm in a relationship right now, I'll just be very brief. When we first met, the first time we met, which was actually many years ago, I immediately noticed him. Yeah, I thought he was attractive and whatever, but like I felt very drawn to him, which I don't really do. He didn't feel or notice anything. He barely even seemed to notice I was in front of him, which is kind of funny now. And then I saw him a couple times after that, and it was in like in a business environment. Same thing. He was very polite and very appropriate and whatever, didn't even seem to know I was alive. And then when we did hit it off, it was under a very different it was still there, but everything was very different. And we connected, we really connected. And he picked up on it at the same time as I did. And yeah, it was an attraction thing, but it was different than that. And I immediately felt like something turn on, and I don't mean us being
Mhm.
attracted.
Mhm.
It was like, oh, there you are. You know what I mean?
Boy
Like
is gorgeous. Oh my God,
it was
gorgeous.
That's
it was
funny you
very
say
different.
that.
And I
That's what
do
I
know
told my
him.
that's what I told my husband when we met. I was like, "What took you so
Yes.
long? Where the hell were you?"
Yes. Yes.
He, yeah.
Yep. And when we talk about it, he laughs about it because he knows, and they have like actual records. Like had exchanges with me, and he's like, "Oh man, I don't know where the hell I was." And it's like, well, you know where I
My
was.
husband, I
But
showed him the spell I wrote to draw him into my life. I
oh my
showed it
God,
to
I
him.
did one for him
Right,
too.
exactly. He
I
says,
did.
and I
I
expected him to
did.
get upset, but he didn't. He's Christian. He said, "I should probably let you know that I prayed for you as well." And that's all we talked about. It was never
Aw.
mentioned again. It was like that practical magic thing, so
One
Aw.
blue eye, one green eye, or one brown eye and one blue eye.
It's
Something
yeah.
like
funny.
that.
I still have it, and it's like verbatim. It's him. It like it's
Mine is
yeah,
in the cabinet
yeah.
or in the
It's
cabinet.
him. It's him.
It's one of the
Yep.
things that frustrated me with Shan is that I was, in Flagstaff in '93 on exchange program through my college at NAU, and he was already there working at the Walmart, and I never, really didn't have any money, so I never went into the Walmart. And if I had, I could have possibly have seen or met him ahead of time because I didn't go back until 8 years later. And I just sometimes ask Spirit, why couldn't I have had just met him then? I could have had more time with him, but it just wasn't, the time wasn't there, He was going through his relationships, his life, and what he had to go through and experience. And for the same thing for me, because I had a couple whoppers of a relationship. But sometimes I still think, if only, you know, 8 years later, he was already there. If only I could have just, spirit. Why? But sometimes
Because
it's
you
got to
weren't
be the right heart.
ready, timing wasn't right,
Exactly.
situational.
It's frustrating sometimes, though.
Yeah, you
Why would you have wanted? Why?
Because I would have been with him longer.
yeah, don't do that because situations may not have been right. If you would have
I
gotten with
know,
him
but
earlier, it
still,
probably wouldn't
sometimes.
have worked out for you,
And he
you
and
know.
he was, a lot younger, and he would had been maybe a little more time too.
You
But
dirty old cougar, you.
no, he's older than me.
Oh, I thought you said he was younger.
No,
Oh,
I
I
said
was like, you
he
dirty
would have
cougar.
been younger. We would have had, I would have had, when we met, he was 42. So that he would have been what? 30 something when we got
I'll
together,
tell you this. I did that spell
38.
prayer for my husband. But I don't think I've ever met him before in any life.
Yeah,
It's
interesting. I don't know if I
There's
have with
nothing
Stan.
like that with him. I don't feel any past with him.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
thank you,
don't
Ange, for
know.
doing that. Just wanted to say we have a new person that's a part of our community. This is Alexis.
This is
I've
actually the first night I've seen her in
and we've
chat.
read for her and for her daughter Zoe. Alexis has just lost over 100 pounds. She's fabulous.
Well
Her daughter's
done.
on the same same journey, and we got to read for her last week. Just lovely people, and so thank you, and everybody. Yes, make sure to go check her out and
I
subscribe
subscribe
to
to
her.
you, Alexis. This is also the first night I think that I've met Moonfox.
This is really because Shelby's in a lot of our chats.
Have I seen you before, Moon? If I have, I apologize.
I think so.
In
And
my defense, I'm usually stoned, so
hashtag bong.
bong. I'm gonna make those into goodies once I get
Yeah.
monetized.
So y'all, we are at 9:28. I do have to watch the time. I am on my free StreamYard now. Was there anything that you want to share, Allyson or Bobby, coming up this week? Either on your channel or personal or whatever? Before
Well,
we have to, I mean, I
you
hate
go
having to
first,
wrap things
Allyson.
up now, but we
No,
have
I've
to.
abandoned my channel and
No,
no.
no. Well, any fun plans for the weekend? I know you're getting some snow.
Fun plans. I don't know what we're gonna do this weekend. Honestly, there's no real Scout's so cute. I wish I could show you guys what he's doing right now.
Oh, me too.
He's asleep, but he's like he he's just cute. No, I don't. Go ahead, Bobby.
This week, she's like, nope,
No
I'm bored.
plans. I don't have any plans. No, I'm just
On
talking
the
about my dog's
4th,
feet.
on February
I'm lucky
4th,
she joins me on Fridays.
on February 4th, I'll be behind the cards with Marina from Heart and Soul Tarot.
Okay.
And then on February 8th, Nancy's going to be joining me for Goodbye Winter readings. Hello, Spring.
Hell yeah. Bye, winter. See ya.
Goodbye Winter. Hello,
Go
Spring. We've
ahead
already
and
got
just
questions. You can
scoot
go
on
into the
out. I'm
description
over it.
box. Look
You're
in the
lame.
description to see what the prompts are going to be that night, what the questions are. We came up with some goodies there. And after that, I won't be doing anything till the 13th when Jess is going to, or Majestic Oracle is going to be on my channel for 420 Tarot.
So when am I coming back to your channel, damn it?
When do
Bobby?
you want to be on my
Jeez.
channel? I'll have you both on my channel and we could chit chat like this. I would love to do this on my
I
channel.
just miss. I love my Bobby. I call him
That'd
my
be
Bobby
fun.
Boo. So when people see in chat, I call him Bobby Boo. So he's my
Bobby
Boo.
Boo, that's
My
me.
Bobby
I am your
Boo.
Bobby.
So
But
we'll
thank you
figure
for
something
joining,
out.
letting me join you guys tonight.
It
It
was a
was
pleasure
fun. Thank
having
you for
you.
being here.
Kristen says, I wish I had some idea for a video to do, but I have no ideas. But you're busy, girl.
I'll
So
give you some
actually,
ideas. I'll send you a fucking list after we're done here.
Kristen will be joining Allyson and I near the end of February for one of our Friday shows. I can't remember exactly which date, but Kristen will be joining us. And
February 21st, Kristen will be on my channel, and we're doing messages from spirits that day.
nice.
And I made a really
And
cute thumbnail for that, so go look at it. It says, Bobby said kiss his ass, and remember who the fuck you are, and things like that on there.
and Karen and I are working on Karen. I think it's February 2nd. We decided to do the next Mystic Poet Society, and Karen will be hosting. And then Nancy and I will be back on Monday for Divine Feminine, and we'll be talking about Bridget. So, and she says, yes, looking forward to it. So wonderful. She's making the rounds now, getting her channel built up. So, were you done, Bobby? Allyson? Oh, okay. Well, everybody, have a great rest of your night. Have a safe weekend, and we will see you in chat or on our next live.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.